It's your turn. I ask that you don't shout out of your turn. We don't want it to be an argument across the floor. I hope there is no arguments anyway after what you've listened to. You've just heard four sincere people here. And when you ask the questions, give your name as well, because the chairman does it. I know most people, but just give your name and introduce yourself. Barry wants to stand up first. He would have done anyway. so we might as well let him do it. So Barry, start the ball rolling.
First of all, my name is Barry Roth, supporter, shareholder, my sins of practicing accountant on the Aldgate Right. I think it's worthwhile on behalf of all the supporters that are here tonight to welcome you on our behalf to the Bury Football Club. I've already heard enough this evening to convince me that for all the things that have happened since the dark days of administration, I've heard more truth said tonight than I've heard in all those years. Nev said, don't hark back to the past. The only thing I can say is that the well-meaning directors of the past, and they were well-meaning, got themselves into a very deep hole. Sometimes they told, I believe, lies. Sometimes they told half-truths. I think we heard more from Nev this evening about what's happened accurately than I've heard in a long time. I think from you, Mr. Chairman, I've already heard enough to convince me that we are going forward and not back. To Nev and Kevin, and for all those who are here, already the atmosphere this evening is better than it was at the last Times Forum, where it was almost a lynch mob, and that was also on TV. Can I ask, Mr. Chairman, just one thing? Can I have your assurance that you will tell the fans, the supporters, and the shareholders the truth, the whole truth?
Yeah, certainly. The one thing that frustrates me, and I've got a couple of friends here tonight who know me, is that I get annoyed about clubs that don't tell the truth. It frustrates me why, and you'll have probably seen it recently, we sold David Warren as a player. We put an announcement out there that the player had left, and within 5 minutes gone, we got criticism for the player being sold. 20 minutes later, I put the statement out as to why we'd sold the player. 5 minutes after that, we got a lot of positives saying, if you don't want to play for the club, we don't want him at the club. The situation is you're going to get the truth from me, and it might not always be the best thing. It might not always be the right good news that you want him to hear, but hopefully you'll hear a lot more positives than you will negatives. And what we're looking to do is you'll always get the truth in terms of what we are. I did it the other day where the fixtures got announced. We've got so many away fixtures this season where the long haul trips, and I said I'd pay personally for the coach travel for all away supporters to go down there. We're trying at the moment in time to do an actual deal with Portsmouth Football Club for the tickets for that game as well, where it will be a cost by us, myself personally, for supporters to go to that game.
Well, that deserves a clap.
The one thing that is, I get really frustrated by, like I said, by a lot of the clubs not telling the truth, and I can honestly say you will get that from me.
Next, yes sir. My name's John Jenkins, and I left Bury when I was 10. I actually live over in Saddleworth, which is not far from where you guys have come from. If I was a multi-millionaire, I would invest in the same way as you have clearly done. And the very supporters are phenomenal. The people who are making the comments on the message board and Facebook and all sorts are worried because they can't believe
the luck that we've got 2 people like yourselves, 3 people, sorry.
Nice too.
Yeah. we know Neville, and I'm so glad that Neville's here today in chairing this meeting, because he is very through and through. We can't believe why you've come. Please tell us, for the cynical people who are around, who you're listening, why? Is it just your love of football, and do you want to take us to the championship again?
Premiership. Again, it was the pure love of football. You know, I'm so passionate about football ever since I was a kid. You know, it was the one thing I looked forward to. I think I said to somebody the other day, you know, my dad was a wholesale greengrocer. He was the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. He'd be there at 2 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd come home, he'd sleep for an hour and come and watch me play football in the night time. Because football meant that much to him. He took my brother, my sister and myself to football, and we watched different games, and that time that I spent with my dad's my best mate. Because we had that bond through football. Every time we're together we talk about football, and we talk about different things, and you know, Glenn will tell you I'm a bit of a statistic when I come to football. I look at it and I look at players, and I probably do Kevin Tedding at times because I know players that I'm talking about and we're having discussions with. And when we saw that a club of this tradition could go out of business, and like I say, it really was that close to going out of business, it was the fact that seeing the passion of the supporters and seeing the passion of Neville and Jill and other people that was here at the club, I couldn't afford to let this go away. And you know, people have made comments saying, you know, are we looking to sell the ground and are we going to go away? I won't be spending the amount of money on the gymnasium and the function rooms and all the other rooms that we're looking to do if that was the case. We ain't looking to sell the ground. We are speaking to the council about getting better training facilities, because Kevin identified that straight away with the training facilities. We've also looked at something where we're looking to bring the youth team back under our control, because the youth academy at the moment is a little bit independent as to how it's been from the club. So we wanted to bring that back into our control so the development and progression can go through. So I'm a big believer in terms of, you know, it's an exciting thing for me, because like I've mentioned before, I got frustrated at how football clubs have run, because a lot of football clubs, and we saw it, we went to the Portugal, to the Football League meeting, and you've seen clubs there, they're very stale in the way that they operate, and the way that they are, they run as a hobby rather than a business, and that's why they get into so much trouble. And I found out that Wolves' wage bill last season was around £24 million alone. There's a lot of clubs that we know of that 100% of their income just goes to players' wages. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to change that ethos. I wanted to change and stand up to it really in a case and fight against it. But what I saw with this club was the passion that everybody wanted to do and the changes that we thought we could implement, all for the better. And I had a fan come to me yesterday saying that every decision that we've done has been for the benefit of Body Football Club, and that's what we're looking to do. And this wasn't about me. This is about football club surviving and turning this football club into a success. And I'm hoping that we sat here in 5 years' time and you all think we are in the championship, and you're all we're fantastic and everybody's positive, and you know, and hopefully we'll push on from there. That is the aim.
Thank you. Yes.
My name's David Rox. Proud to say I'm about to commence my 60th season as a dentist supporter next month. So small shareholder as well. Just wondering what your future is, what your future plans are for the 1885 lounge on the Legend Bar, when it was announced on the website that you would be reducing season ticket prices, and those members, those that fans who already bought the tickets next season would receive their own reduction by into vouchers for matches. It was stated that there would be an announcement in the future for the two lounges that was mentioned. Many members of both the 1885 lounge and the Legend lounge are here tonight. Many of us that paid our money, Ron paid it at Christmas, so mine nearly Christmas as well. On the website this morning, it's mentioning that the 1885 lounge is going to be used for pre-match sponsors entertainment next season with 3-course meals, 5-course meals served up to 30 guests with their own exits up to the stand by the pitch. and there was also something else which just came to the mind about what you're planning to do, but I don't know what you are planning to do. We paid our money and we'd like to know, please, what we're doing and where we're going to go next season.
Maybe, well, I'll take the first part of that one on board in terms of one of the things that has been a big challenge at the club is that the way that the commercial opportunities have not been maximised in the past, and we felt that there was a need really to rotate the rooms round slightly so that we can give the corporate sponsors a much better partnership. You know, I think last season there were only 4 or 5 games that actually had sponsors there. So what we're proposing to do is the current boardroom will move into the 1885 suite, the 1885 suite will move to Legends, and Legends will move into the old boardroom. At this moment in time, all those 3 rooms are currently being refurbished, and there's new ceilings going in, new carpets, new lights, energy efficient lights, I might add. Televisions are going in there. The corridor that's outside 1885 as it is now and Legends as it is now, that will have tables and chairs on so that we can spill people out into that corridor area, because that's a massive waste of space and an opportunity. So there's the potential there for at least another 30 people. We put a television in that corridor. The old Starkey's bar is going to be renamed 100 Club, and that will have, people will have the opportunity to go in there, have a drink before the game, watch TV games, go to the stand afterwards, come back in at half time, have something to eat, some sandwiches or whatever, and then go back in after the game. I think as a gesture we put in on sandwiches and hot drinks for people in Legends who previously enjoyed a pitch side view. They will now get that food opportunity in the new Legends room at the back. They'll have the opportunity to upgrade into 1885 going forward. As for the pricing, unfortunately we haven't actually finalised all the pricing detail on that, but hopefully we've still got another 3 weeks and 4 days before the season kicks off to sort it out. We've been very, very much on the hoof at the moment, catching up, sorting lots and lots of issues out. And I confess, you said we'd get honesty, that's not been on our radar just at this moment in time to address that pricing issue. But it will be after tonight, I can assure you. So apologies for that, but too many plates up in the air and 1 or 2 crashing on our heads now and again, and that's one that's just landed on my head. Thank you.
Can I just say, just on that one issue, when Stuart and his team came in, and he did say this before he bought the club as well, that the first thing he's going to do is slash the prices, he's going to restructure the prices, he's going to make it affordable to come. You've heard him tonight. That is his policy. I said we have a problem. I said because we took season tickets in December and bonds and all kinds of things we did. I know this is an hard ask of you all. I can assure you there's quite a few people leading up to when Stuart came into the club, put money in just to keep us going, just to keep us pay wages, and they put it in all sincerity, large amounts I'm on about it. I'm not saying you should have put the same in. And if I can be cheeky, and I can be honest with you, I ask everybody to give them, they are trying to offset some of the costs so that people who pay $250 get some benefits to cover up for that. Can I just ask a favour of you? Will you look at it, and I promise you that when you paid your money in December on, and you paid your season tickets in December, that you saved this football club. You really did save this football club. And what they've done is not a vindictive thing against you. They've done this so that going forward, they can make this an affordable football club. Now, when I spoke to them about it, they want to put it right. They see there's a bit of an imbalance. But I plead to everybody, rather than shoot off at the hip and saying I paid 50 quid more than him and he's, he's moved my room or whatever. Promise you that sort of 100,000 you fetched in at Christmas in bonds and season tickets saved this football club, and you played a major part in it. So 50 quid, yeah, it might be hard to take at this moment, but I'm sure these lads will put it right with us. So just ask for a bit of leniency for time to do that. Okay, we're on that. All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name is Alan Edmund, and I'd like to ask Kev, was there any chance of Ryan Wallow coming back to the club?
Yeah, there was. We spoke to Ryan, but his wage demands were...
The wages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was down to money. The chairman's given a budget.
Yeah.
We know what brackets the players are in, and Ryan wanted a 2-year deal that was, once again, if we'd have gone down that road, we were back to what's in the place.
Right.
Problem in the first place.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ian Taylor. With regards to players again, are we going to rely on signing more players and keeping out the loan market, or are we still going to mix and match this season?
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, sorry, Kevin.
Yes, I think there will be. We're going to try and sign as many as we can, and we will have to rely on the loan market, but not like we did last season, where all 5 loans were all, taken in at once. Part of the problem with the lads arriving when they did was that the season ended by over 2 months. A lot of the players that would have been ideally we would have looked at have actually been snapped up. So we're now left trying to trawl through what's left and trying to get the best out of that group. And so we might have to use the loans to give us that little bit more quality that we need at this moment in time. And putting the processes in together, the scouting network, player identification, hopefully that going forward will give us the opportunity to sign better players. And we do not ever want to get in a position where we are going to sign 16 and 17 players. That just, because the rule of thumb is for every player that you sign, 5 that you sign, you tend to lose 1.5. If that's the case, we could be signing 3 or 4 players that might not do a job, so we don't want to do that. And I've said to the chairman, we're going to hold our nerve here. And we said that, I'm getting a little bit twitchy myself at times. Because anybody that's been down at training will tell you, I want everything ready, organised, well structured. But players are asking for too much money. And some of them are in for a real shock. I reckon this year, over 1,000 players will not find work in football. This is the worst year they're expecting since the Bosman rule came into place in '88. Now, that could be a benefit to us. And some of the players, for me, I've spoken to 1 or 2, they want X, Y and Z, and I said, look, we can't afford that at this club. I don't think you find it at many other clubs. You might well find them coming back in 2 or 3 weeks' time, but all of a sudden they haven't got a job. So, if we have to start the season with 14, 15 players, I think as Nev said, by August, end of August, players who thought they'd got a contract, or would have got a contract, haven't got one, could well become then affordable to us, and we'll go down that route. Alongside bringing in the trialists from wherever. We want to trawl all through the trialists. We've got 26, I think, at the moment, this week. If we get 2 out of that, I'll be really pleased. But in the next 3 weeks, we'll have another 26. And you might just be surprised what we get from there. I remember bringing Lauren De Jaffo here all them years ago. And Lauren had a decent career. George Santos, people like that who came in. So we know it can be done, and we're going to hold our nerve, like I say, and try and get the right players coming to the club.
Ryan Rigley, been in sports for 55 years. Been very impressed what I've heard tonight so far. It's very reassuring, it's very enlightening. And to many of these evenings, it's the first time we've ever had a manager explain all the tactics to us. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Just deliver, Kevin. Yeah? The other thing is, back to attendances. As you alluded to yourself, Stuart, attendances here are low. I've done some rough workings out. We had about 2,000 home fans average last season, 2007 the season before, when we had a lot more support, 2002 going back those seasons. That's home support, not home attendance, it's home support. Have you got a strategy in mind for increasing that home base? Alright, the pricing structure will help, no doubt. We've got about 1,400 season ticket sales already. That's nearly everybody that was coming last season. So therefore, at the moment, you're getting nobody extra coming through the gate on each match day. So I'd just like to know what plans you've got in mind for raising the attendances of home fans.
Yeah, we've got lots of plans in mind. I've met with the council, the head of the council twice now, who are very supportive of the football club. Obviously the main shirt sponsor. And the population, he's telling me the active population of the area is around about 180,000 people. You know, so there's a huge audience that we need to target, but it's actually getting Bury FC out there. You know, and that is the thing that I've had a big gripe with, I've got even with the season ticket sales. You'll probably see over the next week or two, you'll actually see representatives of Bury FC in the town centre. You'll also see them in other businesses, going around trying to promote Bury Football Club. Because it's okay, we're sat here and we're all thinking it's great, but you're quite right, we've got to go out and talk about Bury Football Club. We've got to get into the schools, we've got to get into the communities, we've got to go there. Somebody was telling me that Manchester City's home shirt is £99 this next season. You know, another 23 can come and watch 23 games with us for £100 for the same cost of a ticket. So we've got to promote that, we've got to get that out there. You know, the difficulty that we have is we are a little bit behind, well, we're a lot behind from where we want to be in terms of it, and the main priority that I've had to try and do is sit down with Kevin in terms about recruitment of the players. Then we've also looked at the season tickets and we've looked at everything that we're looking to try and achieve in a short period of time, the pre-season fixtures. You know, as of 2 weeks ago, we didn't have any pre-season fixtures whatsoever. So we went out there and tried to get the best that we thought we could do. We've now got Club Brugge playing in 2 weeks here. You know, they're qualified for the Europa League. You know, that automatically, I think Gordon mentioned to us, we got 300 followers in Belgium after doing that. The situation is we've got to promote this brand, but not just promote this brand in the local area, which is very, very important, but promote this brand worldwide. Part of the work that we've been doing, especially with the scouting system, we've now got networks in countries all over the world, and part of that is we are at the moment trying to do talks to try and get an end of season tour with the football club as well, to go and visit other countries to get them to come over. You know, you've got Manchester United and Manchester City getting a huge influx of overseas supporters coming in to the area. What we need to do is tap into that and get them to also come and watch Bury Football Club as part of that. You've got holiday companies as well that are providing these travel. Liverpool and Everton do it as well. We need them to encompass Bury FC at the same time. So we're working with the council a hell of a lot in terms of doing that. So there's a lot of ideas that we're going to promote, because I'd like to get the attendances up above 5,000 was my target. I said that to the guys here. You know, I wanted to get home attendance above 5,000, because I'm sure Kevin will tell you, if we can get that support here and it's bouncing, it counts as another 12th man, and it gives that to the supporters a lot more. Because I know if you walk out of the stadium and you see it full, the players will give that a little bit more. You know, if it's half empty, you know, it just deflates you a little bit. So one of the things we really are working on is trying to increase attendances.
Just one thing there, just to add, since we reduced the season ticket prices, a lot of the new sales are new people that have had to have new allocations. So obviously that is increasing the support. And a lot of people that buy the tickets now are basically saying that they couldn't afford it before but always wanted to come on. So obviously Jill sat there and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the new season ticket sales have been new people that haven't bought a season ticket before.
I think, sorry, I think we as supporters can play a massive part in this. There's somebody who I work with whose children are 10 and 11 who support Man United and can't afford to go to Man United. And I was saying they were going to the football museum at Old Trafford, and I said, well, make sure you look at the FA Cup winners in 1903, 1901, and when they say Bury, then say they can get a season ticket at Bury for £25.
Yeah.
And I've told this woman that, and she's going to see whether she can get them to come and watch us.
You're 100% correct. We need you to spread the word as much as what we can do. You know, I'm trying to get out there now and see different media companies that we can try and do. And like you say, we probably had the biggest in Sky Sports yesterday come down. We're the cheapest season ticket in the Football League and buy it a long shot. I think somebody mentioned to me, Dagenham and Redbridge, their season ticket is £500. You know, and so the situation that we've got is, as much as we can promote it from here, you're 100% right. bring your friends, bring your family. That's what we wanted to try and create, is bring everybody down. Hopefully they will see and have a fun time coming down here and enjoying the game of football.
Yes. My experience, been a season ticket for a number of years, and that program is about 2 weeks older than been there ever since. So, my question is, heard a lot tonight about scouting, heard a lot about season ticket prices. Obviously, we've heard about the board, about the hole we got themselves into. Part of me is sympathetic, part of me is angry. Obviously, there was a deficit there in the funding. My sense tonight is going to be deficits accrued over the next couple of years, in my head. What's contingency to stop us getting to a hole in the future?
We've got a plan in terms of what we're looking to do over the next 5 years, and that is going to require capital investment over that. It's also restructuring the business. We've had to review every department in terms of what that department's doing. You know, as we've touched on tonight, you know, commercially, we need to be going out there, but as Kevin, we don't want to think like just a plain old buddy. You know, the companies that we're talking to are multi-million-pound companies to give us sponsorship, to give us events. You know, it's also, we're talking to the council about events where this isn't being used as a football club. Because unfortunately, this is only getting used once a fortnight in the stadium. There's things that we're already doing, you know, myself and Jill have already met, you know, Jill's done a lot of work with things that we're looking to try and implement, where if these come off, they'll be unbelievable in terms of what we're doing. And what we're trying to do is say, listen, we want to set the size. If Man United can do it, why can't Bury do it? You know, that's the same mentality that I want to achieve. You know, I saw the other day, I pulled the guys in, I said, Chelsea just got a Samsung deal for £18 million a year for a shirt sponsor. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go get an £18 million a year shirt sponsor. It'd be nice if anybody's out there wants to do it. But, what we're looking for is going to target the right companies who want to come and give us the right sort of sponsorship with it. We know what with capital investment we're going to have to put in, and we're prepared to do that, but it's working and restructuring the business, because unfortunately, it's the income that is generated from this club. The big thing is supporters coming through, you know, also the away supporters. There will be a time when we have to move people because of the away support, but if that's to give us extra revenue within the football club, then surely every supporter here has got to understand why we're doing that. And we'll give you as much notice as we possibly can. But that's why we created a section to say, listen, you don't have to pay more to go sit in a certain seat. You can pay the same for whatever seat you want to sit in. But if we've got a club that's going to bring 3,000 supporters, we need to utilise that, because everybody keeps on telling me they had an incident with Oldham last season where they lost money. You know, and that's what we can't afford to happen here. So it's got to review everything that we're doing, and the business structures that we're putting in place to run this as a business. Yes, we're very, very passionate, but we're not going to get carried away with what we're doing. So hopefully, with everything that we're putting in and the ideas that we're putting in doing, is to create extra revenue from a non-match day game.
I mean, I met Perry today for the first time, and he came over as honestly as what these guys are. Yeah, he's upset that Portdale have picked up on him, what's gone on at Portdale, and all Portdale fans are flooding our websites or wherever they flood these days. Well, we've had that situation, and we had a chief executive that got blamed for everything at this football club, and when he moved to Sheffield United, you all flooded him with bad luck and whatever else you said to him, and when he moved to Stoke, you all flooded him with emails wishing him bad luck, and I've no doubt now he's gone to Leicester, you will do the same. All I'm saying is, we shouldn't be listening to anybody from Portdale. We should be here today supporting that lad. He's full of ideas, he's full of enthusiasm, he inspired me, and all I'm saying is that give him a chance. Let's not worry what he did at Portdale. Who gives a toss? It's like, you know, end of the day, who's bothered? You're only there 3 months, and he's took the whole picture of this football club, and that should happen. That does frustrate me as a commercial man, because he's got to go out tomorrow and sell sponsorship to O2, and sell sponsorship to JD Sports, and sell sponsorship to other big you know, and bad news, and it might go to helping him, is it? So trust them, just give them a chance. And I'm sure in 6 months' time, when we have another forum, you can have your answer.
Yes. Tommy Stevens. One of the main things that's not been touched on is catering. When we're on match day, you've got a whole league match day package you've got to put together, and then you've got the catering side, which, to be honest with you, is way overpriced.
Do you mean around the ground?
Around the ground. In the stadium itself. You can take a couple of kids, you get your families in, you get your kids in, and then it's costing you 25 quid.
Yeah.
Just to give them a burger each or coffees and things like that and drinks. Is there anything in the pipeline to...
Yeah, you answered that question, yeah.
The problem is, and like I said, just being very blunt with everybody, the club has contracted all their catering out to a third party. So as a board, currently, we cannot change or reduce the prices. Every single contract that this club has got is now under review, and every single contractor has been told quite clearly that they've got away with murder in the past, and therefore we're looking at all contracts now to basically assist passing on reductions or basically getting better benefit for the club. So at the moment we are restricted very heavily on what we can and cannot do on a lot of contracts. So unfortunately we can't do anything about that at the minute. It is being worked upon. We've already had meetings with the directors of the catering company, and they're coming back with their proposals for obviously moving forward. But it has been identified, because I know that prices are high and they're most expensive in the leagues, and basically, joking apart, that's one of the things that's on the agenda.
So if anybody makes pies and we can do a cheap deal.
I'm a song pick up last night or superb. Really looking forward to seeing. Just my question was just going back to the playing side. You mentioned just an example of Ryan Lowe in terms of not giving him a 2-year deal. Obviously, it is good in some circumstances, I suggest, to give players longer deals because you can get money from them. I mean, David Worrell and Schumacher, I don't know how much money we got, but if they're just on short-term deals, then we're less likely to get money from them. So, is that something we will be doing for certain players?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, the player, if you go to Arsenal, and we look at Bergkamp, for example, once you got to the age of 30, they only gave him a 1-year deal.
Yeah, the old.
He's one of the best players in the world. What we've got to say is that we can't tie our money up into long-term deals for players over the age of 31, 32. So what we have done is said to the players over 31, 32, you're on a 1-year contract. If you play over 75%, start 75% of the games we complete them, we'll look at a second year. So that's where they might get a long-term deal there. The younger players, we are looking to tie up 2-year deals because you're quite right. Any player has got the potential, and that's where we want to see a lot more younger players coming in, sprinkled with a bit of experience to try and come, to nurture them along. But the point of it is the younger players will be given a 2-year contract. We think they've got the ability to either improve us as a football club, and 2, maybe go on to sales for the football club. So try and making sure that we don't get turned over and easily picked off.
You were talking about being a presence around the town, which obviously you're working on. I think something that's always been raised in the message board is obviously very little presence in the town centre. Someone puts something about a huge amount of people who visit Bury each week. Something that's always raised is perhaps potential having some sort of shop in the town centre, not just people.
It's funny you should say that because I had the leader of the council down this morning, and part of me taking on the tour was to get a club shop in the town. I have talked about that with him already, and they are now identifying areas that the club can have a shop within the town. So we can sell tickets, we can sell merchandise as well. It's a big thing for us. Again, the difficulty that we've got is we've got to review the contracts of what's being done at the club to make that the right thing, because so the club benefits from doing it. And it's an area that we've identified. You're quite right. I didn't realise, he was telling me, there's 30, 40 coaches coming from all over the place to come to the market in here. He was telling me they're coming from the north east, they're coming in from Yorkshire, they're coming in from all over the places to come and see Bury. And it's on Bury's market is on a lot of tours. The mystery tours. That they have. But you're 100% right. It needs to have that presence in it. But again, they'll do it when it's right with the Bury Football Club. They are identifying it. We've met the council twice. Again, they're extremely supportive with the football club. We're trying to create the ideas, and that's something that I'd like to implement as soon as possible.
Just wondering about recruitment really. One of the best, sorry my name's Lee, best players we had last season was Tom Souls. What's the situation with him? Is it likely he will sign or move on?
Do you want to do it? Can't tell you how frustrated we are with Tom Souls. Tom's been offered a 2-year deal. He came up, he was going to sign it, he was doing an interview with called the press officer, he got a phone call, and we haven't seen him since. That's part of the problem. We either break the wage structure, sink the club into debt, and then think, well, active hatred reputation, or we stick to a wage structure. And I thought what we're giving to Tom was one of the top wages that we were going to offer this year, and Tom was given. So,
the frustrating thing, just to touch on there from Kevin, I mean, Kevin, I spent, as you know, a lot of time with him last season in developing and bringing Tom in. What was frustrating from our angle was that part of the process when we sign a player, we want to talk about why they want to come and play for this club. You know, what is it that attracts them to come and play for us? And Tom was giving all the right signals out to myself and Kevin, and Lightsey was in Jill's office to sign the paperwork. He got a phone call and he went and he said, oh, it's a great deal, and he was going to go back down and he wanted 2 days to think about it. It came to the Friday, which was the deadline that we said to give him, and he never phoned Kevin at all.
And we gave him the contract and let him take it home with him. He wanted to speak to it with his father. So we try to do everything that we can. I mean, that's an unusual thing. We don't normally hand contracts out for players to walk away with. But that's the way it is. And you know, what's the frustrating thing was Tom Souls came last season, when I came here in November, hadn't got a job. Thought he was one of the players we were talking about. Players that are waiting, thinking, well, I've come from the Premier League, I'm earning 20, 30 grand a week, I'll get another job. Like, no, you won't. They didn't wait till the end, and what happened was he couldn't get a job. When he came here, it took him 6-7 weeks to get fit. And we did that for him, and to be fair to him, he played for 2 months for nothing, and then as I said, I think we gave him £450 for the last 2 months. So, I'm sure there'll be other players like that, but Tom was definitely on the agenda.
And again, just touching back on, we will be open and honest. You know, in terms of it, we wanted to sign him, and it was that close to signing him, but for whatever reason, and Tom's phone's been off ever since. Yeah.
What was the Brazilian like?
Annabelle touched on the season tickets that were purchased early in December. But can I get an assurance from the board that the bonds that were bought at that time will be honoured over the period that they're existing for?
Yes.
And also, can I just ask about on the commercial side, have you actually got any plans to do anything with this building, or is it going to be demolished and incorporated into the main stand, if there's going to be any further renovations into the main stand?
Well, the leader of the council said he'd demolish it with a bomb. What he said this morning. The situation that we've got to do is there's so many plans that we're trying to do to regenerate the area in terms of what we've got. There's ideas that we're trying to implement, but it's got to be done along the right lines. So there's a lot of things that are ideas that we're going to come out with over the next 2 or 3 months. We know the biggest thing for us at the moment is this place unfortunately is costing us £1,000 a week just to keep open. So that's a drain that we can't afford to have on the club. So we're trying to look at other areas that we can implement where the supporters can use before a game, and there's ideas that we've got, but it's so difficult with the different licensing and procedures that you have to go down, and even things where you've got to talk to the police to get them on the right side of you, what you want them to do. So there's ideas that's coming around. There's nothing specific that we've identified as of yet in terms of what we said that we're going to do, but there's a lot of ideas that we've got which will hopefully change for the benefit of the club. Do you want to speak?
My name's Becky. I've never had anything to do with Bury. I've never lived in Bury. I've not been born in Bury, but my dad dragged me along here from being 4 years of age. So it's kind of in my blood, and I'm a Bury fan. I'm a primary school teacher, and unfortunately for me, I work in Rochdale. There's a lot of people, a lot of Rochdale Football Club comes into the school and does a lot with it. There's a lot of Bury fans, and there's not really much youth that come and watch Bury. I was hoping that maybe as a board you would be looking at going into schools and trying to get the youth of Bury involved in the football club, so then it will, obviously that'll be the future.
Yeah, 100%, and it's a good question in terms of that. And I think we touched on before, it's trying to improve the attendances of what we've got in the football club, and one thing that Kevin did is he's put a very detailed pack together for the players of the rules and regulations of what the players have to adhere to. And part of that is you are an employee of the Bury Football Club. So you've got to go out into the community, you've got to go out into the schools, you've got to go out into the areas and actually give up your time. You know, it's okay going to training in the morning and then going home and thinking your job's done. It's not. Your job's done for going to training, but your next job is to promote Bury Football Club, and how do we get into the schools and the communities to do that? It's a big thing because my sister's a teacher, and she's a teacher at Huddersfield. And Huddersfield, their school policy that they have is probably one of the best in the country, because they give tickets out to the kids, they get the dads coming, and the mums come into the games, and it's a fantastic policy that they have. And she's told me about that policy in terms of what it is, and that's something that was an interest to us that we want to implement around this area as well. Kevin's fully on board. He's been fantastic because he'll give up as much time as he needs to do, and he'll get the players to give up as much time as they need to do, because he understands the importance of that as well.
Well, they're the future.
They are the future.
I think, before we brand ourselves and not doing things like that, I do think our community do go out into the schools. I think the council...
We go to about 72 schools during the year.
We go to 72
every ticket. Tickets, 400 or 500 every league game. They go out to schools.
You want to come to some Rochdale?
We're not allowed to cross the border. That's the problem. We all have areas and we're not allowed to cross that border.
So before people think we're not...
Which is understandable. So, I mean, they do go to 72 schools during the year, doing free coaching, preschool, after school, free coaching all the time, and give 400, 500, 600 tickets a game out to get the kids down. So, we can't be calling them for that, because we do that a lot as well. But we're not allowed to come across the border. We've got to keep within our area, because it's not fair. It's rules.
And that's why my school's never come back and said, ex-players at my school today.
School players?
Yeah.
All right. No, I didn't say players.
No,
I said community go into that. But the players go out every Thursday afternoon.
I think the scenario to that is that you've just heard they change the view. They're going to make sure the players do go out into the schools, and hopefully next year your kids will come home and say, a Bury player's been in our school today coaching us. Whether that's lacked in the past,
With the number of schools in Bury, the players go out every Thursday afternoon with the community and visit the school. Now, if your children just had that visit, they do. There's no schools in Bury. We're not talking about Bury, we're talking about Whitefield, Preston, Radcliffe, Ramsbottom and everywhere. But they have been going out every Thursday afternoon.
My son's been coming to Bury for 5 years and has never once said,
What school does he go to?
Greenman.
Greenman? Well, they don't go up there, you see. Have the disabled any questions supporters?
I'm chairman of the Bury Disabled on the Stanley Gallery. We travel away every away match. One thing that we'd like to do is to jump on this Portsmouth trip. Rather than saving me driving down there and back or staying over, if you'd like to look into it for us, for a disabled coach to be
getting into that. Stan's only just asked me tonight. Stan's van is the one that's parked in the corner of the ground. They park it there, they pay for it themselves. they park it there and then come and pick it up on a match day to go to away travel. And Stan has asked, when you're saying you're going to coach on for free travel, could we look at a disabled coach for the wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
So I said I would speak to the
Could I ask Kevin a question? He was on about bringing scouts in for youth system. We've got to get this youth system back on board. If you look at the football pitches, parks pitches on Saturday and Sunday morning, around this area, around Bury, Bolton and Salford, you will see loads of scouts walking around from Bolton Wanderers, Burnley, Manchester United, Blackburn, and you never see a Bury scout looking at these kids. I'm looking at kids of 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, and we've got to get these on board. We'll be getting scouts going around looking for those.
Well, as you said, I mean, at the moment, I've had no influence over the youth policy because it's not part of Bury Football Club. It's a separate entity. So certainly if it comes back under the umbrella, which is what the chairman's have to do, then that is definitely something that's going to be reviewed. And as you saw on the presentation there, scouting, as I said, is the key to success. And if you don't have it, you won't be successful.
We're just going a couple more, and then I think we'll wind it up. Anybody else?
Can I just chip in, Neville, that we're sending so many tweets out, Twitter's blocked us.
Why?
Because we sent so many tweets out.
We've reached the limit.
I'll not sleep tonight. Go on, sir, yeah.
Graham, I just want to ask a question that I think a few messages wanted asking, which is whether the money that Stuart and Glenn and anyone else that is invested by way of loan or by purchase of shares. I know they said the company is debt free, and I just wanted to clarify if possible whether in fact all that's happened is the transfer from a debt to revenue and to other people to actually a debt to Stuart and Glenn.
Well, anybody that puts money into a football club ain't giving it. They're coming into this football club. And obviously he needs security on what he's doing. He came in within the space of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And okay, there were a lot of questions asked. And at the end of the day, all he's done, if he has done it, and honestly I don't know to this day if he has done it, if he puts a charge on this...
I've not mentioned the charge.
No, well, is it a loan or is it a gift? Well, it won't be a gift.
No, I asked whether it was a loan or whether it was shares.
Well, it would be a loan into the football club to take it forward. It would be, because
well, that's all I asked.
That's all any director sets out to do, and just to defend the directors.
No, I'm not a criticism.
No, seriously, I know you're not. I'm trying to explain to you the directors before, especially two of them. Well, if you go back to Ian Mills even, that these people turned their loans into shares and wrote their loans off, and it was their choice to do that, which was great for Bury Football Club. I think what we've got to do is say, over the last 3 weeks, these lads have put a considerable amount of money in, and we shouldn't be really discussing it here because, you know, it's not fair on them where the money's come from. It's come, that's the main thing. We're all sat here tonight because the money's come. So.
Just want to say on behalf of a few people.
One more, yeah? Go on, Morris.
Can I just ask Kevin what happened with Peter Shirtliff? Did he just decide that he didn't want to work for FCA anymore?
To be fair, it was nice to bring someone of my own in, and I wanted Jeppo to come in and discuss it with Peter, and he did the honourable thing, and you knew his time was up, I think.
On that note, can I just go on one more?
How soon can we expect new players to come in?
I thought I'd get away with it. To be fair, we've been discussing with players tonight on the way. The problem we've got is a lot of those contracts run out on the 1st of July. So if technically we can't announce it, shouldn't announce a player if he's under the contract unless the club previously agrees it. There's 2 players now with fight like hell to get on with, and the players in question are already owed another year's contract money by that football club. We've agreed a deal, but it's not at the level that they were getting paid. So that their club now has to try and have an agreement with that player and their agent to bring him in. So if he was earning 2,000, we're paying 1,000. There's 1,000 difference. They're fighting like hell to not pay him. He's fighting like hell to get it. So we're just in the middle of that. It's a shame because we would have announced that 2 or 3 tonight. But hopefully everything will come clear when it's
Right.
Just one thing.
Can I ask the chair for?
Just one thing that I just wanted to say as well is it just, you know, the support is very much overwhelming, and I thank you for coming here tonight. I hope we get the continued support that we're looking to have. We will be doing these fans forums regularly. We want to keep everybody informed about the decisions that we're doing. You likely said that there's more messages going out there on a daily basis about the things that we are trying to do. I think Kevin will back me up on this, is that things off the pitch are being run at the Championship Club here with the things that we're trying to implement. The lads are going on a pre-season tour down to Cornwall, which has all been agreed and sorted now to do. So I'd just like to say thank you for your patience in what we're trying to achieve here. And by saying thank you, what I've asked the bar to do is that I'll pay for everybody to have a drink tonight on me. So
that's not right, was it? No, seriously, I'd like to thank tonight Stuart for coming along, Ian and Glenn, the manager. All we ask is for patience. They've been here literally 3 or 4 weeks. If you must hit Twitter, I'm glad it's jammed actually. Let's be positive. Because like we said earlier, if you are positive, they're positive. If they're getting stick, you go in a corner. I've had it myself. You just get mental anguish and hide away and think to yourself, what am I doing this for? You know, you're working your hardest, you're doing your best, and people around you going, it's not easy. So all I ask from you is be positive and come and support us, spread the word and buy your season tickets. Keep buying them, because the more we sell, the better it is. Thanks for your attendance. Go and buy yourselves, go and get yourselves a drink, and I'm sure you've been impressed with what you've seen today.